This is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Yes, indeed, the BBQ Central Show and the best moments of the BBQ Central Show is just what you need. What you also need to know is that this episode is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets, and as always, handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for more than 15 years, and every week they're shipping out competition quality meats to many of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use the Butcher Shop win, and they win often. Even if you're not a competitor, you deserve the finer cuts. Great news. The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged, Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks, people just like you and me, who aspire to be the kings and queens of their cul-de-sac. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock. And again, it's always handpicked just for you. So let's review. The best competition briskets, they got it. The best pork selection, they got it. Giving you better overall options to cook in the backyard, they got that. So give the Butcher Shop a call today, 850-458-8782, 850-458-8782. You mention the BBQ Central Show, they're giving you 10% off your entire order each and every time you call. You can also interact with them on Facebook, facebook.com/thebutchershop. Shop is spelled S-H-O-P-P-E. Give them a like, give them a follow, let them know John sent ya. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets. And today, let's take a step back to 2016, and Greg has a chat with Dr. Barbecue himself.
All right, so let's go to the Facebook questions here, Ray. And the first one's from Steve Ray. And he wants me to ask you about grill stock in England. And I guess, I don't know what his familiarity level is. So let's just say he's heard about it. So, thumbnail sketch out what grill stock is, maybe how it got started, and, how it was, just a month or two ago when you were there the last time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to talk about it. Grill stock, an American barbecue contest within a British barbecue festival, I guess is how I'd describe it. I think it was the 6th year or 7th year or something this year. It's just a rocking good time. It's a barbecue festival with meat, mayhem, and music, they call it. So there's a big music element, a lot of vendors selling all kinds of crazy stuff. It's not like here where everybody sells the exact same thing at a rib fest. They sell all kinds of crazy stuff, and a lot of very heavily meat-oriented, a lot of beer, and then there's a barbecue contest, and the teams actively cook and give food to the people in between their turn-ins. Just a rocking good time. I can't wait to go back again next year.
And this is, competition-wise, something you've seen rapidly catch up to how the KCBS guys are turning in. They're kind of following suit along those lines, right?
Yeah, I always talk about and a picture surfaced recently of the chicken riding the motorcycle, a steel motorcycle that was made to hold his chicken. And that was what we saw the first year. Now the food looks identical to KCBS food. I mean, identical. Every single entry looks just like it, either parsley or kale boxes. And they're allowed to put whatever they want in the box as long as it's edible. Any garnish is acceptable. Nobody uses anything except lettuce and parsley and kale now. So yeah, it's been really interesting to see the evolution. It went from they didn't know what the heck was going on to now they're completely up to speed. And those guys, the good teams from over there, come over here now and are very competitive at the Royal and in the big contests.
Do you foresee a time? I know John and Jackie Waite pulled off the win 2004 at the
I think it was, yeah.
The Jack Daniels. Do you see like a European team coming and duplicating that at some point here sooner than later?
Oh yeah, I think so. They're totally up to speed. There's no secrets anymore. They're buying the same stuff that back then. Jackie she had to make sauce. Nowadays, yeah, everybody's buying the same thing. They got the same cookers. They know how to cook it. I absolutely do. I've judged the Jack. As a matter of fact, I'm judging the Jack again this year. I judged it a couple times recently, and the food is almost all identical. I know I say that a lot, but man, it's true. And so there's no reason it could come from anywhere. I think you'll see a European team win real soon.
Next question from Scotty Johnson, a fellow Chicagoan, as you are. Will Haywood ever cook again? I have no idea. It must be an inside joke, but will Haywood ever cook?
Matter of fact, I'm looking right up there. Is in 2000, I went to Wacoma, Iowa, and there's Sandy. Hi, Sandy.
Hey, there's Sandy, everybody. Hey.
I think we saw her boob.
Cameo.
Wacoma, Iowa, the Lynch Livestock folks used to have a cook-off there, and I had just gotten a new cooker. I got a pellet cooker. When I was getting ready to buy my concession trailer and move to Florida, I left my Jedmaster at home, brought this pellet cooker. It's like 1.5 times a Fast Eddie a guy made for me, with a Traeger firebox on the side. So I didn't really want to cook under my own name because I was afraid I was really going to not do very well and embarrass myself. So I signed up as Haywood Jablomi.
Oh, my God.
And I got reserve grand that day, and Mike Lake was announcing the awards, and Mike kept trying to figure out a way to say it that wasn't Haywood Jablomi.
My Lord.
That was the only time I ever cooked as Haywood Jablomi and got reserve grand.
Was your sous chef Ben Dover?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We can come up with 1 million of them, no doubt.
Yeah.
Also, he wanted to know where you get your ideas and inspirations for cookbooks. I mean, obviously, we know the story of the first one, but now that you have so many under your belt, I would imagine at some point you might be a little stale for ideas, or you get a little locked up in the brain about things to conceptualize or get down on paper. So how do you keep yourself from, getting in that kind of pressure box?
I mean, I really think that's the talent, the gift. If I have something that makes me able to do it better than some other people, I think that's the gift. Being able to, I'm getting ready to start one now, and writing that outline. I will write down, it'll be about 80 recipes. I'll write down about 90 or 100 titles. And it's a maze. So you got to have the right amount of pork, the right amount of beef, the right amount of chicken, some vegetables, some stuff that's grilled hot, some spicy stuff. It's this whole puzzle that you put together. And I really think that's and you do it. If you're not inspired by what you just wrote down, it's hard to go back and do all these recipes. I was telling somebody a story the other day. One that I did, one of my cookbooks, there's something called High Octane Sloppy Joes. So I wrote that down in my original outline, not really having a clue what that was going to be. Just sounded cool. I knew I needed like a ground beef recipe in there. And then 6 months later, I went back. One morning, I woke up and said, I know what High Octane Sloppy Joes is. But I truly believe there's a lot of people that I could give them that list, and you could create good recipes. I think just putting that puzzle together and the creativity, because you got to be careful too. This will be cookbook number 10, not to do the same recipes over and over. We all have our tendencies of things that we like. When I reach for herbs, I like thyme. But I can't just use thyme every time I want to use some herbs. I have to use herbs that may not be my personal favorite, but I know people like them. Salmon is a good example. I don't really like salmon hardly at all, but I know that people do. So you always got to put a salmon or two recipe in there for grilling and barbecuing, but they can't all be the same. You got to come up with some new idea. So it's a challenge, but I think that's why not everybody can do it.
Doug Scheiding is asking what you're looking to get out of the restaurant venture. Money, staying connected with barbecue public, something to do, next phase in a career, perhaps. What's the win or wins for Dr. Barbecue getting into this venture?
Always lots of meat on the bone when Ray's on the show. Y'all know Ray's one of my favorite guests ever. He's always just Chicago swagger. If you know what it is, you know what it is. I love it. You want to find out what Ray had to say, the rest of the meat on this bone, head on over to the bbqcentralshow.com. Link in today's show notes is taking you to the complete episode. Go over there and check that out. You always know you can get a hold of me. You got a request for a show, you got something to say, drop me an email, John, John at the bbqcentralshow.com. And until next time, on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.